Monrovia, good evening. This is News Today with me, Emmanuel Davis. First, the headlines. Protesting Liberian women recommend the suspension of Deputy Police Commissioner General Walker Reyes for taking no action during electoral violence. Call for a safe space for women to freely live without violence. Montserrado County Representative Akaras Gray says CDC does not take the responsibility for the recent District 15 electoral violence. Says Senator Dillon violated Section 10.3 of the Code of Conduct by under-declaring his assets. These plus many other developments are in this edition. We take this break to be right back shortly. Welcome back and thanks for rejoining us. Let's now bring you our first development. A cross-section of disillusioned Liberian women today gathered at President George Weah's Foreign Affairs Ministry office to protest against domestic and all forms of violence against women. As you see on your television screen there on Capitol Hill today, the women named increase in rape, continuous marginalization of women at various workplaces as some of the cases that need to be considered a national emergency. Speaking to reporters on Wednesday, the protesting women seeking redress said violence against women is a violation of the domestic violence bill passed by the legislature. Here is a scene of the peaceful gathering on Capitol Hill today.
This is an angry day for the women.
Well, let's now bring you two of the women today speaking when President George Weah met them at the Foreign Affairs Ministry.
You have estimated number of 8 women being raped every day in Liberia. If we're talking about Ebola, if we're saying in Liberia that 8 human beings were dying from Ebola every day, this would be a national emergency. It would be on shutdown in this country. 8 every day, raped, gang rape, babies and all. So it's a national emergency, it's a national crisis. And so we are here to raise awareness. We want the government to respond to us.
District 13, November 2018 and District 15, August 2019 representative elections, and the online ruling during the recent 2019 Montserrado senatorial elections were not only unpatriotic, but demonstrated a lack of respect to women who sought to positively contribute to the nation through their participation in the electoral process. Furthermore, these actions are in contravention of the domestic violence bill, which recently signed into law less than 2 weeks ago. The system marginalization of women in government, politics, civil society, and the workforce through statements made by those in positions of power have the potential to incite chaos and violence. Number 3, In the 6-month period of December 2018 to July 2019, there were 2,021 reported cases of sexual and gender-based violence in Orlando. Based on this trend, by December 2019, this number can be expected to far exceed the 2,200 cases reported during the 12-month period of December 2017 to December 2018. This number does not even consider the cases in the other 14 counties. This is unacceptable.
Well, the women also called on President George Weah to retract his statement against female candidates in Liberia for the sake of peace, and also want the suspension of Police Deputy Director Walker Reyes.
Mr. President, in light of the above, we call on you to take the following actions. Ensure that the Liberian National Police and the Ministry of Justice investigate the police officers who witnessed but did not intervene in the assaults in District 13, District 15, and at the National Elections Commission. We request an independent and impartial investigation into these incidents, and that the results be made accessible to the general public within 2 months. Number 2, we call on you to immediately suspend the current number 5 of the Liberia National Police, Commissioner Walker Reyes, for his repeated refusal to intervene in violent assaults against citizens perpetrated in his presence and order an investigation in his conduct for further punitive action. Number 3, in the interest of peace and to create a safe political space, retract your statement calling for violence against female political candidates and institute a zero tolerance policy against government officials and political parties making comments that promote violence and derogation against women and girls. Number 4, provide increased security presence throughout District 15 in the days immediately preceding and following the reroll date and until the winner is announced. Particular attention should be given to the 6 precincts that fall under the NEC's mandate. All security personnel assigned to this detail must be professional in the execution of their duties. They must be well-resourced, seasoned, disciplined, and impartial security professionals who take their mandate seriously.
While receiving the petition, President George Weah says his government remains committed to the protection of the rights of every Liberian and will ensure that Liberian women have a safe space in the society.
I received your message. I think it's important that all citizens, not just women, as a feminine chief, all citizens should be protected under the law. Election violence, we all condemn election violence, and we're going to make sure that District 15 be a special government assigned place where we will protect the area so we can have free and fair elections, and the rights of women in this country will be given attention to. But a lot of things we read here, we have laws, and I think in our government we have so many women you can see and you know. So the women issue is our issue. I just signed the domestic violence bill to tell you that I'm in support of women's rights, and we all have to reinforce. So I need your ideas what to do, so we all can work together to see how women can be protected. The law will be enforced to make sure that women's rights are fostered and we protect our women.
President George Weah there today at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs responding to the petition given by cross-section of aggrieved Liberian women who today protested against domestic violence and other forms of violence meted against Liberian women in this country. The National Teachers Association of Liberia, in collaboration with other civil society organizations, has launched an anti-campaign against the proposed privatization and alleged commercialization of public schools by the government of Liberia. The Teachers Association and the civil society organizations in their press statement said the government plan to privatize public schools is a sign of shying away from its responsibility. The Vice President of the Northern Central Region, James Miller, has been addressing a news conference.
This government is permitted to outsource the entire elementary school system and even the junior high division. Liberia will enter a record of notoriety once again. It is the future schooling of children around the world. Liberia will suffer another shameful international scandal. For us as civil society organizations, teacher honor the educational stakeholders in Liberia, we view this proposal of privatization and commercialization of public schools from the following points. One, we believe that the government of Liberia is negating or shedding away from her core responsibility. Two, the outsourcing of more than 250 public schools to private providers is a form of government shedding away from accountability to their citizens on the provision of education. Three, it is violation of international and regional laws and protocols signed by the government of Liberia and violation of Liberia Constitution, education law. Four, it is a threat to the composition of our national education curricula and education policy.
Well, viewers, if you just joined us tonight, this is a reminder that you're watching news today on KMTV. My name is Emmanuel Davis. Still ahead of us, Montserrat County Representative of District Number 8, Akaros Grace, says the CDC cannot take the responsibility for the recent District 15 electoral violence. Says Senator Darius Dillon has violated Section 10.3 of the Code of Conduct by under-declaring his assets. We'll take this break to be right back. Welcome back and thanks for rejoining us on our news platform. Let's now cross over to Margibi County, where that county district number 2 representative Ava Jones has dispelled reports accusing authorities of that area of violating the budget law of Liberia. The Margibi County caucus and delegates at a special sitting joined Montserrado and Bon counties to waive a $6 million debt owed the 3 counties by China Union. But Senator Oscar Cooper argued that the decision was not in conformity with the budget law and other legal instruments of Liberia. Representative Jones addressed a news conference on Capitol Hill.
2 of the 3 counties agreed that the waiver go ahead looking at the constraint in the country, and not only that, looking at the high unemployment rate. The resuming of operation by China Union will help to raise revenue for government. Not only that, but also help to provide employment. And there was a scheduled meeting in the county that was held on the 14th of May 2019, in which delegates from all over the county was invited, and in a resolution they agreed that the county authority join other caucus to waive the 6.5 million, since that the resuming of China Union operation will create jobs and also raise revenue for government that can go on. So at the end of the day, it was agreed that we receive the 4.5 million. And according to the ratio, 50% of the 4 million is to be given to Bon County, and 25% that constitute $1 million supposed to be given to Margibi, and 25% that constitute $1 million also for Maserado. Kopos' point, in which he said, for the fact that this sitting or this special sitting was not held in the county, it contravenes Section 9 of the budget law. I'm saying no, he's wrong. The caucus, along with the administration and the delegates here, did not act or did not contravene the law. We acted in line with the Constitution. We acted in line with the budget law. We also acted in line with the resolution of November 14, 2018.
Maserado County District Number 8 Representative Akaras Gray says he is disappointed in the opposition community for attributing the recent District Number 15 electoral violence to candidate Abu Kamara and the CDC. Though the District 8 lawmaker condemned the violence, he said the other side destroyed a vehicle belonging to Senator Sir Joseph in that part of the county. He at the same time branded comments of ALP political leader Benana Yuri as pathetic relative to an attempt to allegedly kill his daughter in District 15.
The incident that occurred in Lockington, this is not the first of its kind. We got to be very emphatic and clear. I see people trying to shift blame on supporters of Abu Kamara stroke the Coalition for Democratic Change. That is erroneous, and those who are running with it must get the truism of the story. When we were closing our campaign, this by-election in Lockington, you saw the provocation. People from Tila Yuri office stoned our partisans who were walking. In fact, there was a roadblock. This story has not been said. People have launched a nasty propaganda against the image of the country for a seat, a district seat. Because if it is not then it must be nobody. If you take a panoramic look and view at Abu Kamara home, just this in the violence, you will see that his home was stoned sufficiently. A car belonging to Senator Sir Joseph parked in front of Abu Kamara home was bust by those who choose stones. Let us not make that mistake that our people provoked the situation. It's unfortunate. I'm disappointed even in senators, some of the senators who are party zealous, trying to blow things out of proportion. I say sharing tears should be collectively done than being sentimental. We got to de-sentimentalize. These things are national leaders. We got to do that. And when you say he allegedly bore arm, I am telling you what a United Nations report on Liberia says about Mr. Yuri. That he bore arm and ammunition to kill innocent sons and daughters of this country. That's what I'm telling you. I'm telling you, I'm paraphrasing what the UN said. Why travel bans on Mr. Yuri? My Mr. Yuri cannot go to the United States of America today. That's some of the reasons.
Well, ALP political leader Benana Yuri made these comments at a joint news conference of the full opposition collaborating political parties over the weekend at the headquarters of Liberty Party.
Today, I could be dead if my daughter would have died. I wouldn't have been able to live it up. The pain is real. It's not going to force us to go down as low as they've gone to. You know, we're blessed. It's the prayer of all the mothers, fathers, and Liberians, and people in the world that has my little girl living today. You know, all those, including the president, must remember they have children also. We should never go that low. We have already won the elections in District 15.
So.
Want to tell the president? He said Dylan and a Uri cannot win. They already have won.
Yes.
They have already won. No matter what happens in District 15, the world knows we have won.
Yes.
And we will pray. Look, and I want the world to know, I don't hate Ria. But we will pray for him. And we will hope that God will touch him and change him. Is that the same we are with you? We hope that he was changed and devote the remaining years he has to serving, to actually to deliver real service to his people.
In another development, Representative Akaras Gray has called on the requisite authority to investigate Senator Darius Dillon for allegedly understating his assets. He said under declaring of assets is a violation of Section 10.3 of the Code of Conduct. According to him, Mr. Dillon underdeclared his assets due to his refusal to include his monthly earnings in the document as a lawmaker.
You claim you have declared your assets. On the assets declaration form, your income should be stated. Once you then state your income, it means a false declaration of your assets. It's stated there. I declare my assets here. That is part of the assets declaration. So, one, he underdeclared his assets. He didn't say the truth on an oath. You must sign. It's an oath there. Now, all that you said is nothing but the truth. And you can be held liable for that. You don't know your income, but you declared an asset, and your income is asked for. That false declaration is a violation of Section 10 of the Code of Conduct. He had betrayed the historical comment coming from his mouth during the campaign period. He said, I will make my assets public besides declaring your assets. You don't scapegoat. You don't escape. By asking the Secretary of the Senate to make your assets public. No. The Secretary of the Senate is under no obligation to make any senator assets public. Being that Mr. Dillon knows this very well. So he decided to form an escape route. So that when you put the microphone to him, you will say, but I told the Secretary of the Senate to make my assets public. Why would the Secretary of the Senate take money from to publish it in all newspapers? Is it the responsibility of the Secretary of the Senate?
Let's now bring you a flashback of the induction ceremony where Senator Dillon declared his assets before members of the Senate.
As a first sign of our commitment to our pledges, we want to publicly make the following proclamation. During my campaign, I announced that we will fight to reduce our salary. Today, on my compensation, I announced today that considering the current economic situation Liberia is faced with, I, Senator Abraham Darius Dillon of Monserrado County, will only accept a salary in full sum of $5,000 United States dollars. Any amount over this will be deposited in an escrow account to go toward social development program of the county. I urge my colleagues in the legislative, executive, and judiciary branches to kindly consider doing same. In keeping with our Constitution, in these times of economic challenges, our Constitution said national leaders should craft national policies for national good. It's time for us to look in that direction. While a full declaration of my assets will be made following the due process outlined by law, I publicly declare today and present to the Liberian, to the Secretary of the Senate, my asset in keeping with law. I'm presenting or submitting to the Secretary of the Senate in this public manner my asset as the repository in keeping with law, my asset and liability. Everything I own with that more than 75,000, I got nothing to have. I came to the Liberian Senate as I am. And we want to encourage our colleagues.
Well, moments after the statement of Senator Delon, Senate Pro Tempore Abu Chie reminded the new lawmaker that the constitutional power to remove him lies within the purview of the Senate.
Yet, the Bible, the rules of the Liberian Senate. This is a political house. Yet, we do politics. You were elected by the people of Mosorado County, but from today's date, you belong to the Liberian Senate. That's why the Constitution, the freedoms, the power to remove you from here is not with the people. It is with us here. We alone have that power. Here, Mr. Senator, new Senator, we act beyond party lines. Here, we act beyond party lines. Since I've been here, I've been here going to 5 years now. We act and think independently of party ideologies, wings, caprices, and orientations. We are independent here. We think independently. No party dictates to us. Since I've been here, nobody dictates to us.
From Capitol Hill, tonight on our news presentation, we'd like to draw the curtains on this edition of KMTV News today. But before going, a recap of the headlines. Protesting Liberian women recommend the suspension of Deputy Police Commissioner General Walker Reyes for taking no action during election violence. Call for a safe space for women to freely live without being intimidated or violated. Montserrado County District 8 Representative Akaros Moses Gray says CDC does not take the responsibility for the recent District 15 electoral violence. Says Senator Delon violated Section 10.3 of the Code of Conduct by under-declaring his assets. Well, the Montserrado County Senator is yet to respond to the allegation. Well, with that, we go home on this edition of News Today on KMTV. Many thanks for watching our news tonight. Better still join us tomorrow for more news and information. My name is Emmanuel Davis. Good evening.